Alright, hello. I am at the easel here. I think this is called an easel, right? And I've got a little liquid clear oil paint. Bob Ross thing. Everything I use on the stream is Bob Ross brand, brushes, paints, everything. Because I'm a certified Ross instructor and we've got to use Bob's stuff and it's good stuff. So I've got a little 1-inch brush and a 12 by 12 inch canvas here that I painted black with black gesso and let it dry. It's good and dry right now. So I'm going to put a little bit of this liquid clear on here. We'll make a little smiley face. Maybe he's got a little goatee down here. And then what we want to do is just spread that out. Very, 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 very thin coat of liquid clear. And the liquid clear will allow us to move that paint a little bit more freely and it's just a little bit more easy on us so that we don't have to work ourselves to death. So the easel I'm working on is not a Bob Ross. I guess not everything is. I've got my Bob Ross easel behind me. This one will hold up to an 8-foot canvas. My wife built it for me. So it is a little noisy at times because we're still working with it and getting it all the kinks lined out. But it works really good. And what I'm using is just little circular strokes. Kind of like, and you can see, I'm not doing this. Just barely, look at those bristles bend and really grind that oil paint, that liquid clear into the grooves of the canvas. You can also, very much like Bob, use these little figure 8s or X strokes. I guess I'd call them X strokes because it's like that. But I'm keeping that brush on the canvas the entire time that I'm moving it around and spreading this stuff all around. And I think I got enough on that first go to wet the canvas all over, but I may get me just a touch more on the bottom. You don't want much of this stuff. You don't want too much. You'd rather have probably too little because what can happen is your paint can all of a sudden just decide to take a little trip south and it can slide right down this canvas and onto the floor. And I always joke in class that people, like if I'm teaching at a store or something, I'll say the store will probably sell you that table, but I just don't know how much. So be careful with that liquid clear. What you can do once we get it applied here, you can actually take a paper towel and just kind of wipe it back off. I'd be a little careful there that you don't use paper towels that have a lot of lint. So something like a shop towel, or even my wife discards dish towels quite often, and because they get a stain on them and they're no good anymore apparently. So I would keep those and use those for painting rags because that's what I dry my brushes out on when I use paint thinner and stuff. Try not to use so many dang paper towels. Bob didn't want us cutting down trees for no reason. So if I can save a few trees lives when I paint, that's a great thing to do, I think. I like trees. Alright, so I've got a good little even coat on there of the liquid. It's going to be shiny, so it's going to be hard to look at for just a second. It may be hard to look at the end. We don't know yet. So this is a little scene that I've already painted. It's the time-lapse scene that I have on my channel. And a couple people have asked me to do a little tutorial. So I took this little bitty 12 by 12 inch canvas and decided we'll try to paint a Northern Light scene on it. I've already got all my colors here on the palette. I got titanium white down here. I got phthalo green up here. I've got some purple that I mixed up. I've got some, I think this is Mountain Mix, which is a Bob Ross color. And Bob always talks about Mountain Mix. I've also got some Midnight Black over here, just in case I need to darken anything up. I primarily will use these two colors here, the purple and the green, and of course the white. Titanium white. Alright, so let's get started. We've got that, I've got that brush that's got liquid clear on it. So what I want to do is take that brush, I'm going to go up here to my palette and I'm going to start with phthalo green. And my phthalo green is really dry. But I'm going to tap my brush on there, okay, just like that. And you're just kind of tapping it on there to kind of get an even distribution of paint so that you don't get any like big chunks of paint in one area. It's especially important to do that on a white canvas because you can see the streaks. Get a little bit of this paint. I got a little oil up there, soften it up. Alright, so we want to put a little bit of color on here with these little X strokes. And here's the hard part of a black canvas. These are transparent colors we're using for this black canvas painting, and son of a gun, you can barely see them. But if you look, you can kind of see where they're at. Yeah, sorry for the noise there. Sounds like a jackhammer. We will get that kink lined out eventually. And I'll show you what I do here for this. I wanted to put that right behind the mountain, but also above the mountain. There's going to be a little mountain in here. Again, it's the same scene, just a little smaller. Because I'm kind of lazy like Bob. I think too big a scene for me to paint again. Alright, so I've got that on there. What you can do is put your finger on there, and if you get a little bit of residue of paint like that, you're golden. Okay, you know you've got plenty of paint, and you can say, alright, I'll move on. I'll wipe that on my jeans. I encourage wearing painting jeans, or maybe those paper towels or that dish rag that we talked about a minute ago would be helpful as well. I'll put a little bit more there just to make sure I've got enough. Now there's no lake in this painting, it's all trees down here, so I'm not really worried. But I'm going to let that just meander down there just a little bit. So I've got a little shape of green, got some up in the corner, a touch right there. What I'll do is go over here to my purple color, that's phthalo blue and alizarin crimson. Phthalo blue and alizarin crimson. And you get a nice purple color. Let me show you here on the brush. It's very dark, so you probably can't see that. You'll see it when we put the white on the canvas, of course. And I'm going to put this wherever I don't have the green paint. This is where it becomes difficult. But guess what? Don't be worried if they mix together. Mixing them together is what I'll do here in a minute. Not completely. I don't want to lose the colors completely. I don't want them to turn into one, just one ugly color. I want them to be happy together. I want them to play together. We want them to work together, I guess I should say. Okay, and I'll do that again with the purple. I need a little bit more purple up there. There. You can kind of see that. You can still see the ridges of your fingerprint. Then you're in good shape. But I have a little area that's a little lacking in paint, and I can actually see that. So it's right here. And I can let some of that meander down. It depends on if you want. You can use any on these black canvases. You can use any of the transparent colors to get this effect, these Northern Lights effects. Bob liked to use crimson, phthalo blue, and phthalo green a lot. I like the phthalo green sometimes just by itself. When I get that on there, and I think I've got enough, I'll even take that brush just lightly, 2 hairs and some air, and just kind of go over. And that way, those colors do kind of mix together just a little bit. I still got that pure green there, but I want those colors to play together a little bit. You want them to be friends. That's okay. Now I'm going to go over here and grab, I got brushes and I got a little table next to me here. I'm going to go over here and grab a little fan brush, and I'll show you. Sorry for the glare of the lights. There we go. I'm going to load this fan brush up with some titanium white. Alright, not Walter White, titanium white. Alright. Got a good bit of paint on there. Northern Lights in Bob's style is one of my favorite things to paint. I have probably painted versions of this painting 10 times now. So think about curtains of light kind of just coming down. And I'll do 3 on this little canvas. You can put as many as you want. But another thing to think about as you're working on Northern Light painting, look at Northern Light pictures. And you can see that sometimes they're blobs of color in this guy, so they don't have to have any definite shape. But for this one, we'll do. And what I do is a little different than Bob. It's the same technique. But I actually figure out, where do I want to start these? So I'm going to start one right here in the corner, and I just take a little bit of paint with very little pressure. And I just start working my line, and I'm going to stop it there. I'll reload a little bit of paint. Maybe there's another one right here. Maybe I'll put a little jagged edge there on that one. And somewhere this one swoops back into there. Look at that son of a gun. And then we'll do one more. We'll let it get kind of big, and then all of a sudden it turns and kind of goes back into that. Now, if you did that, you could pull those up, but it wouldn't be enough paint. That just gives me a guideline of where those are, so that I didn't get crazy with the paint. Now I can reload the brush with a little more white, and I can actually just figure out where I want a little bit more brightness and just tap those on there. Tap some white on here now. I know, a little bit more down here, and I'll show you why in a second. This is going to look awful when I do it. It may look awful at the end, like I said. But I do want a little bit of color back in. Oh, look at that. You can see that green picking up. You know, some of this will get hidden by the mountain, of course. But we'll just throw some stuff there. The paint is really dry tonight. We'll make it work. Alright, and we'll tap a bigger one on here. Look at that. Look at that son of a gun. Alright, now we've got a mess on the canvas. Right? We've got a really big mess on the canvas. We don't know what it looks like. Now we're actually going to go to a clean 2-inch brush now. And I'm going to grab my trusty, clean, but dirty, you can see, dish towel. Alright, so I'm going to actually take this 2-inch brush and just kind of pop these up. And watch this. My hand's in the way. I'm going to wipe it off occasionally. Occasionally just kind of give it a wipe. And start picking that up. Start picking it up. Start picking those colors up. And it starts, if we do it right, and we can always brighten these up too. And I probably will. If you just kind of pick it up. Oh man, go all the way through them. Look what happens. You get such beautiful colors coming off here. It's just amazing. This little technique here, you know, again, Northern Lights can be anything. I'll just kind of blend this out a little bit. This will be our mountain down here anyway. Woo-wee, look at that. Turn this light on, maybe that'll help with the little bit of a glare there. There we go, look at that. Oh man, that's nice. I'm not bragging on myself, I hope not. But we can do whatever on this canvas. Bob was right. And you can pull these once and be done. I like my lights to really kind of show up and glow up, I guess. Right here, I want a little bit more. I want that to be a little bit more defined. Got the brush. There we go. That's what I'm looking for on that one. I lost it a little bit there. But that's what you can do. You don't have to, you know, you can say, like over here, I'm going to maybe just throw some little shapes up here. Now this is really weird, right? But watch. Take the brush and just kind of twirl those, and you can pull them up. Most of this gets hidden, like I said, by the mountain. But I want something back there, because this side especially will get seen when we put that little mountain on here. Look at that. That's really cool. I love this effect. I get tickled about it every time I do it. So if you want an easy painting, these are easy paintings. This is really, you can just do this, put some trees on here, it'd be beautiful. So I'm going to dip into my thinner, and I'm going to surprise you with something here. A very small amount of thinner, and make the titanium white kind of loose, almost like an ink consistency, maybe even a little looser than that. This is the step I would encourage you to take an old canvas and practice with, because this can get messy and this can really ruin your painting, but it's also can make it beautiful, so, or interesting maybe. Got that white, and I'm going to take my fan brush. I don't have my thinner in there. Second, get me a little bit more thin that. There we go. And I can't really show this on the stream or on the recording because it just won't pick up how much thinner I'm putting on here. But it's a really neat addition. Now, I always encourage you to take your paint thinner, the white that you're using for the paint thinner, and get that away from the paint that you're going to use for the mountain. There's what I'm looking for. I'm going to flick some little stars. Notice I'm not moving both of these. I'm keeping this knife firm in my hand and just letting that fan brush kind of rake across very lightly. And if you did everything right, and I'm going to put more than I would normally put, so hopefully they'll show up on the video. And normally I would keep them pretty much concentrated in the little dark areas. But if you look at pictures of Northern Lights, you never just see the lights. You see some stars back there. You probably don't see as many as I've got. There, we'll just go crazy, just so you guys can see them on this video here. There. But I think it adds a little bit of something to the background that pushes everything, pushes the lights forward and the sky back, if that makes any sense at all. And you may not be able to see those great on the video, but I will have the picture of this on the stream as well. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my palette so you guys can see what I'm doing. You can also see kind of, I need to get this that I just put thinner in away. So I'm going to put that over here now. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go and grab a little black here that I've got. A little bit of this purple, a little bit of this green. And I'm just going to make a little mixture here. A little mixture here. That's plenty. Cut that knife right across. And look at that. Get that little roll of paint that Bob was always so tickled about. Now Bob's knife was not shiny like mine, because he was smart and made it not shiny for TV. Alright, so I need a little mountain on this guy. Don't want to kill our lights though, so let's put the big peak kind of coming here. We'll have another little peak. I'm pressing really firmly on that knife. We'll let this one kind of come off over here. Don't be scared of the knife. The best thing you can do is, if you're trying to paint in this method, is take that knife and just, talk to it. Walk around with it outside and talk to it. Get to know it and have fun with it, because it will pay great dividends if you use it. And you can do more than just paint mountains with this knife. You can paint a whole painting with this knife. But tonight we're just going to do some mountains. And I'll just pull that one over there. Very simple, very easy little mountain. For this little bit of canvas, we don't want much. Once I get that on there, I'll take that knife, and you've heard this noise before. And here's a concern that always happens in class. Somebody's like, trying to keep that nice top edge. You want a clean edge. Doesn't matter what's happening down here. But people are like, oh, I went outside the line. Okay, well, guess what? You just go back and straighten it back up. And just clean that edge back up. Now I've got almost another peak there. That's easy to do. But you really want to take the time and scrape just as much of this off as you can. That way the paint sticks a little better. You're going to take a 2-inch brush, okay? We're going to get up right to that edge, but not over that edge, and just kind of start pulling that down. Pulling it down to the right. I'll get behind this one, and I'll pull this way, and then I'll just kind of mist them out. And there's a little mountain peak. A little easy Bob Ross mountain peak. This one may come all the way in front. We don't know. I'd probably encourage anybody working on a small canvas like this to use the little 1-inch, unless you're used to this big 2-inch brush. But just kind of get in here and just figure out where your shadows and your highlights live, and we'll figure that out in a second too. This step's important, but it's not the be-all end-all of fixing this mountain to look nice. So you can keep working on it. All right, we've got our mountain on there now. Let's get a little bit of titanium white and smash it out. And what I want to do is, there's a lot of green showing. Oh my, that's too much probably. Grab just a touch and put some green in this snow. You know, you've always been warned to stay away from yellow snow. I don't know what they say about green. Can't be anything good. Toxic Avenger or something here. Alright, grab that. Same thing, cut across it. Grab a little roll of paint. Go up here. You can probably make this work if you go flat like this, but it's better if you kick that knife up a little bit and just kind of let the paint sit right on top of that mountain peak, and just kind of start coming down that mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain. Nope, she'll be coming right down this mountain, skiing right down this here in a minute. Bad jokes are free. And this is such a tiny mountain. I could actually grab probably the number 5 knife. It's a little smaller. Alright, let me show you one little trick if you're just starting mountains that's really helpful. I'm going to mix up a color, and I'll show you the colors on the knife here. I'm going to mix up a shadow color with some of the purple and some of the white. Now I need this color to be different enough than the background so that it will stand out. There it is, right there. Let's put us a little shadow. Let's go ahead and start our shadows before we move too far along. And if we do that, yeah, I think that'll work. That color is a little darker than maybe I wanted. I'll grab a little bit of that white as I go down through there. Add a little bit more white. You can always change your color, don't worry about that. And then what I notice here is I want to come back and give me my little roll of paint. This little peak that we created here, just kind of showing you how you can fix that. Need a little bit more snow on it. Now we get back here and just let that knife just kind of, the knife is not touching the canvas, it's the paint. If a knife's touching the canvas, you're not really on the right track there. You're probably going to make you smear the paint. Maybe just right there. Look at that. Oh boy, there we go. I love that green color. You can probably tell if you've seen that other painting. Kind of reminds me of Miami Vice or something. I don't know. There. Just kind of walking. I'm barely holding this knife, by the way. Let's just put just a little bit right there. And maybe just touch that up a little bit. Alright. Give me a little jut out there. Alright. Now we're cooking, I think. Alright, so I've got a little roll of paint again, the shadow color. And I'm going to put just a little bit back here. Just push up into the paint just a little bit and kind of pull back. Like that. Reload. Come up here. This one's a fun one. Push up into that paint. And with no pressure, just kind of like that. Now that one's kind of behind the big one. It actually really gives you a lot of depth in that. I'll go ahead and put a little shadow back there. Let me show you another little trick here. Turn that knife over. Use a little bitty edge sometimes. It works much better for little bitty spaces. Oh, we forgot a shadow. Look, right here. There'll be something right there, right? Just a little bit. A little bit of something. And you can also just create areas that maybe kind of pop up. So, a little recessed area right there. I'll show you how you fix that. Not fix it, but how you kind of keep working with it. Go back with a little bit extra paint right there and just kind of pull that down. Just like that. And it really raises that up. Gives you a little bit more depth, I believe. Not always at the end, kind of go back with a little bit of the highlight color and figure out where it might need a little extra, I don't know, a little extra pizzazz maybe. Now I'm just mixing up a little bit more phthalo green and white, a color that I've been using. Yeah, so I think see, I don't want it to be like super, like straight down. So we want to kind of fix that up, and maybe even on here we'll just kind of make another little run there. There, I like that. It's almost like a little bowl area right there. And then if we see any other little areas we don't like, we can just touch them up. You got to be careful when you're first starting out, though. You cannot continually go over paint like I probably am. I've done this a few times, and I've made the mistakes. So I always tell people in class, if I tell you to do something, one way, it's probably because I learned that you probably shouldn't do it the other way. So, all right, very, very easy painting though. You can't mess it up. The worst thing you can do is have to scrape the painting off and start over. Painting's supposed to be fun, so if it's fun, it doesn't matter if you have to start over. There we go. Yeah, I like that. I like that. And what you can do is on these little areas where I've kind of, oh, that's like a little dark back in there. Yeah, a little dark gun on my knife. Just pull a little extra back there so it doesn't look like those are just stuck there haphazardly. And again, this is a nighttime painting. I always think, or at least for me, that these are probably not realistic, but they're fun as heck. Okay, so they're super fun. Let painting be fun. Take that brush and just kind of tap and then kind of give it a and go with the angle of the mountain. Hold that so that noise doesn't kill us. And just kind of tap this down a little bit. And over here I'm going to tap with the direction of the shadow color. And there we go. We've got a little mountain on there, or a big old mountain, whichever way you want to look at it. Now we get to have some fun, and really quickly too, because this is a small canvas. I'm used to working on, 18 to 24, 24 to 36s, so 12 to 12 shouldn't take us all night to do this. Got that area down there. Now, one thing you can do, if you wanted to, let me see. You could always take put color over the whole thing. I didn't, because I knew I'm putting trees down here that need it. That you could put color all the way down here, and then you could actually put a little bit of glow down here in the valley of the mountain. I didn't do that, but it's another option for you if you paint this one. And if you do paint this one, send it to me. Share it somehow with me so that I can see it and brag on you, because it'll probably be better than mine. I'll guarantee it. And if you like these little videos, give us a like and subscribe there. All of us might make more of them. Who knows? There's some great painters on YouTube. I don't know if I fit into that category or not, though. Alright, so I'm making up a very bright, super bright, unrealistic, but happy tree color. Alright, I think that's the color I want. Alright, I don't like holding the palette as a paint, especially when I'm working on this huge easel here. So I lay it down on the table next to me. Alright, here we go. Let's see what we got. Let's see if this color is going to work. Oh, here we go. This gets scary. Somewhere there's some little trees happening. There they are. And I am just taking that brush and just kind of scrunching down. I call them strike down trees. I don't know that Bob ever gave them a name, or that anybody else has given them a name. So you're welcome to call them whatever. Just make sure that you kind of keep a nice top on them. A nice kind of pointy top, I guess. And then you work, you keep them scrunched down at the bottom. So really kind of hit down and then scrunch. Pull down almost and scrunch. I don't know if scrunch is the best term to use, but it's the one that comes to mind. Very glowing trees here. And I'm thinking these are kind of in a bowl shape, so I can start over here even if I get tired of working on those. And you can do these as fast as you want. Sometimes they're better. They look better if you don't worry about them, because these are not meant to be detailed trees. These are meant to be little things that look like trees, maybe to our eyes that are super far away. Miles and miles away. But we're just working the color across the canvas here. And we'll probably have some purple ones like this next. Oh, gave away a secret, didn't I? Again, if you've seen the little time lapse of this painting, you know where we're going, so you're ahead of the game. I left some of that dark of the mountain down there because I think I don't know, I like it. You want some really, because these are so bright, I think the dark of the mountain back there really helps. The base of the mountain, just kind of like that. You've got you some little tree shapes, or at least what Bob would say tree shapes, right? And if they're good for Bob, they're good for me. So I should talk about CRI maybe a little bit. I am a CRI, that means a Certified Ross Instructor. There's a couple, 3,000 of us, maybe a little more than that now. Kind of spread the joy of painting in Bob's name. And all across the country. So if you're watching, all across the world actually, but especially in the United States, if you're watching and you enjoy this style of painting, you say, I'd like to take a class, look up on bobross.com and find you an instructor and take you a class. If you're near East Tennessee, you can find me and I'll teach you a class. I'll give you the YouTube discount. Alright, I'm taking this big brush, and you can take a 1 inch and do the same thing. And I'm crunching down right on the bottom. This is where Bob would talk about you could take your frustrations out on the canvas. And I'm just diffusing that bottom. And you notice my brush was dirty, which is actually kind of nice. It lays the foundation for the next layer. There. Now, what I like to do at the end for these is just kind of pick up lightly, and it's like maybe 2 3/4 of a hair, and it just kind of smooths them out, gets those tops looking nice, and it looks pretty decent. All right, I'll go grab, just so for time's sake, I'm not big on cleaning brushes as a paint. That's the only thing that I probably am not wild like Bob about, is this beating the devil out of it. I do that, but usually not when I'm painting. I've got other paint sitting, I've got other brushes sitting out somewhere that I can use, and I can move along a little bit quicker. And then at the end, I have to clean 18 brushes. So I guess you got to figure out what you want to do. I'm making a purple color. Look at that. Again, using that purple that we made that you can make with alizarin crimson and phthalo blue. Very, very, very easy mixture. You can keep it to the red side, or you can get it really purple here. So just play around with it. That's the best thing you can do, is take several tubes of paint, mix them together, and see what you get. It'll teach you color theory in no time, and what to mix when you need a color. I also encourage buying a color wheel. I've got one somewhere here, so that you kind of know what colors complement each other. All right, same thing, pretty much the same direction of these, but now we've got some little, almost a magenta color, I guess, or a hot purple. We'll call it a hot purple. And it's the same thing. Those little crunch down trees that go all the way across, and again, I'm not worried about leaving any room here. I will cover that back up here in a second with some dark. But we just kind of have fun here and go at it. You want them to be light enough to kind of stand out, because those other ones are really nice. On a big canvas, I'd probably be a little more careful and probably leave some of that area of dark. I'm not worried about on this little one. I love big canvases, I cannot lie, guys. If I could paint on, like, I've got a 4 foot by 4 foot sitting next to me over here. It's hard to stream or hard to do a video on something like that, because it takes a little longer. But those are the ones I like. And I just really, yeah, these are still too far off for us to see any real detail here. I just want to see the tops of something. The tops of something. Yeah, let's go here and put a couple, maybe raise that one up a little bit. There we go. These were always the most frustrating thing when I first started learning to paint, because the tendency is you want them to be perfect, and that's not what they are. Really, all you really need to worry about is making sure they don't look like fence posts. Okay, if they don't look like fence posts, then they're perfect. Absolutely, 100%. You can always go back and straighten up the top if you need to. Throw a top here or there. Once you get that color down, you can really just do whatever. Alright, we go back to our big brush, and we still, even though we don't have a lot of dark down here, we want to diffuse these a little bit. And again, it's just smacking down on them with not the whole brush. You can see probably the brush maybe a fifth of the brush hairs are hitting, maybe not even that much. There we go. Yeah, I got a brush hair like here. This is a newer 2-inch brush I've picked up. I did that. I'm going to pick these up just like I did the green ones. Just like the green ones. Now, if you ever wanted to, you could throw some little tops on here that maybe a few of them actually start getting a little detail. I'm not going to worry with that. I'm going to go pick up a little dark and just kind of throw under them. That looks nice when you do that. These are kind of close to it, but now we're getting ready to knock all these back. Right? We're getting ready to knock them all back. And one thing I see here is, sometimes you want to make sure and sneak into areas like right between these two green ones and have something kind of sticking up there. So it doesn't look like they're all so flat. Just like there. There we go. Maybe I'll find one more area. Maybe go to brush here, maybe right here. And just crunch in a big one there. And that knocks those back a little bit for us too. There we go. Pick up, and put the brush down. And now we're gonna go to pretty much a dark color. So I'm gonna grab all the purple I've got left. And I'm gonna grab some Mountain Mix. Mountain Mix, if you put a little white with it, kind of looks a little lavender. And I'll just kind of mix these loosely together. Just something dark. I could throw a little black in there too. There we go. That way we're not just adding one dull color. And I'll probably just stick with my dirty fan brush here. It's got the purple. As long as it doesn't, yeah, that color. As long as that color stays dark, that's all I'll worry about. There we go. You can wipe that white out that you had in there, but that's plenty dark enough. Now comes the fun part. We get to have some bigger trees here. Some bigger trees are always nice, right? Here we go. Just touch you a trunk. And I'm going to do down trees. Down trees are easy. Touch, 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 touch to the right. Touch, touch, touch to the left. Touch, touch, touch to the right. Keeping your center nice and full. And all those trees that we spent all that time painting, you could probably leave some of them out. You can also cheat here on the corners. You can just really paint all that corner dark. And there we go. Now we got a big tree sitting there. We'll do maybe three to five, who knows. And if I need to darken them up, just go back over them. That's a big one, so you know, he can have some big arms. That's the Arnold Schwarzenegger of Bob Ross trees. Alright, we need another one. But I want to leave some gaps in these so I don't kill off all my little green trees back here. Some of these trees can be skinny too. They don't have to be humongous trees. There we go. I grow into that one and I'm just tapping. And one reason these are called down trees is because you push kind of down. All there is to it. There's two. What else? How many more we want? We know we need at least three, right? We know we need another big one over here. Maybe I'll make this one even a little bit taller so it's not touch, 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 and you'll start seeing there. You can touch that all the way down if you need to. I don't typically. And then just kind of tip the brush over here to the side, going with the corner, 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 and then start working out. Working it over, right, or let's go, let's do it right here. Left, then right. Now here's an interesting problem you may run into if you paint a lot of mountains. And the easiest fix here, and to keep you safe here, would be to take the knife, and I'm going to use the little edge. Oh my goodness, you're killing your mountain. And I'm going to scrape that paint off. Okay? That way, that paint is not going to interfere with my dark paint that I'm trying to put there. Because I want this tree to stay nice and dark. Dark tree's a happy tree, okay, for this painting at least. I'm just kind of working. And as I need to, I can flip that brush over. There's more paint on the other side. But it's mainly painting with just the corner of the brush. Okay? Got my tree a little fat. That's okay, Bob wouldn't care. So I'm not going to care either. There we go. Sorry, I'm not holding the easel there. Alright, now we got three big trees there. Three big old evergreens. Again, you can go back if you need to and just beef them up here and there, wherever. Quick little evergreen trees. And probably what I would do here is just take the brush and just throw some little things down here. The little strike down trees, but less of them. You can just tap it in. You just want some dark down here, just to. Those are far away. They're kind of down, maybe down a valley. I don't know. But they are darker, and they really make those purple ones behind them pop. And you really don't need to worry that they look great. I would make them dark and more than worry about the shape of them. Yeah. I'll keep that brush good and chiseled with paint. There we go. Yeah. Then we take our 2-inch brush, and for these we just kind of, again, just kind of pop up. We don't need to smack the bottoms of them. Okay. But we do. Maybe let them kind of come in front of those even. There we go. All right. What we can do now is, so we got green, purple, dark. So I'm going to go back to green and a couple little things here. I'm going to take just a tiny roll of paint, and here and there, touch a little bit of the trunk on these guys. You can do that. Or sometimes on nighttime paintings, I don't even put the trunk. I don't think it needs it all the time. I'm going to take a little bit of liquid clear just to drop on the corner, and I am going to go into some of the paint that's the green color, or the minty green color, and kind of thin that down just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. If you need to, you can use liquid white. That'll brighten the color up too, so be careful. So I'm not talking towards the phone, so you probably can't hear me as well. Alright, so thin that paint down to where it should. Remember the golden rule, Bob always talked about it. A thin paint will stick to a thick paint. And I'm just putting a little bit of a highlight on these trees real quick here and finish this guy up here. And just down in there somewhere. And one way you can look at your color and see if it's thin enough is to look at your brush afterwards. If you're picking up a lot of the base color, add a little bit more of the liquid white or the liquid clear, whatever you want to use. Again, the liquid white will make your color not as, it'll make it brighter, sorry. So you gotta be careful there. If that's not what you want, use the liquid clear. I would not encourage using thinner, because thinner and liquid clear don't like each other. You're like, what? Bob had stuff that didn't like each other? If you intend it, it's a great effect. And Bob has a couple episodes you can find where he uses that effect, or the reaction, I should say, between the two to create a really cool effect. If that's not what you're wanting, it ruins your painting. So just tap on a few little highlights there, and we can call this one done. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. Again, if you paint the painting, send it to me. Let me see it. Show off, please. Take care, everybody stay well, and be kind to each other. See you down the road.